The latest statistics show that the mass semigration of South Africans moving from Johannesburg to Cape Town and the coast is not slowing down. But while moving down country is on the rise, what are the implications for the property market left behind in Johannesburg? Newzroom Afrika's Andersen explains.
Semigration, the movement of people from one part of a country to another. The story of South Africans who can afford it, moving en masse from the suburbs of Johannesburg to Cape Town, is not new. But the property markets in both Joburg and Cape Town continue to tell two very different stories. Data from the last few years showed a substantial increase of homeowners moving out of Gauteng, with most moving to the Western Cape. In 2021, the amount of Gauteng homeowners on the move was the highest it has been in the last 7 years. But with so many moving to Cape Town and the demand for houses in the mother city having been driven up even further, latest estimates suggest that Cape property prices are currently growing annually by around 5%. Samuel Seif from realtor giant Seif Properties says that growth is targeted to lower value properties.
If you're in the lower end within Cape Town, and lower end, I'm talking 3 million and lower, you could argue that yes, there's been good capital growth over the last few years. You've got people coming down, they're looking to buy, they're swapping properties out from upcountry, coming to Cape Town, there's fuel demand, and as such, properties in that particular bracket have increased reasonably. And I say reasonably because I don't want us to get ahead of ourselves where we're thinking, no, this is huge amounts, 10, 15% growth per annum, etc. It's not that. At best, it's muted and probably closer to the 5% that you were talking about earlier.
Seif was also quick to point out, though, that even with 5% growth per annum, the non-stop rise of interest rates over the last 2 years has practically eaten away at all that growth. Despite this, Cape Town property sales are also still down year on year for the last 2 years, after an initial uptick post-COVID when interest rates still remain so low. So if the Cape Town property market has only scraped its way to some growth, even with the mass exodus of Joburg residents coming down to the Cape, where does that leave the City of Gold's property market? Seif argues that while an improvement in service delivery and infrastructure in the metro will see buyers quickly turn to Johannesburg's massive value for what you can get, there's still a huge gap to close.
You can see that market picking up again. It's showing incredible value. And I think that people will realize at a stage that, no, this is great value. As things and as the cycle changes, it will and is likely to improve. Having said that, there's an argument at the moment that there's an exchange rate differential between property in Cape Town and Johannesburg. You know, you have an exchange rate differential between rands and pounds and rands and dollars and rands and euros, but there's equally an exchange rate differential between Cape Town and Johannesburg. And if you're wanting the same square meterage under roof in a similar, what would be considered popular areas, in Cape Town, you're going to have to pay anywhere from 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, and even in the top areas, 5 times the price of what that property would cost you in Johannesburg.
With complaints over a brain drain of South Africans with skills moving abroad, the Western Cape government and several other groups are also keeping up their campaigns, encouraging Joburgers to move down to the Cape instead of abroad. But with less costing more in Cape Town in terms of property in the suburbs, will the current rates of semigration out of Johannesburg keep up? Or will Johannesburg shape up and start to get its mojo back? For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Andersen in Johannesburg.